Howdy, folks, and today we are painting the Cessna A-37B Dragonfly. This little airplane was used by the United States Air Force from mid-60s all the way up into the 90s as a close air support aircraft, and even some of our ally nations, smaller ally nations, South Vietnam before the fall, and then quite a few of the Latin American countries used it quite a bit for uh, coin operations, counterinsurgency operations, all the way up into the late 90s and I think even into the 2000s. So it's a good little airplane. I'll talk a little bit more about it here in a little bit. But we started off with doing an all-over spray using the Rust-Oleum flat gray primer. Then we got it to where we did a top spray using the Krylon Camouflage Olive. Once that got dried, we brought it inside and used the Vallejo Model Color Sky Gray to give the underside that light gray color that, pretty much all American aircraft used since at least the mid 60s and even into today. Uh, I really do like the Vallejo model colors. They cover really well, and when dry, they really don't leave too many brush strokes. So it's a good good set of paints, and reasonably inexpensive, and within the uh, model tools and supplies, as it were. So once we got that done, we then flipped it over and we picked up the Vallejo Model Color USA Tan Earth. I decided to do the color scheme to be similar to what you would find on the A-37B as it was found in use by the United States Air National Guard from Illinois in the mid to late 90s. And it's not too much different than the Southeast Asia camo that had been on it, previously. Maybe a slight different location of the colors, but this is very reminiscent of that aircraft. And really, any aircraft used in a jungle setting or a wooded setting from its inception on into the 90s. So the Air Force was needing a close air support aircraft in Vietnam. This was well before the A-10 had come into play. And the reason for that is the Air Force didn't get to have any of the A-1Ds, the Sandies from the Navy, and the F-4s that they were using and the A-4s they were using were just way too fast to really be able to be of any true support. So they started thinking, what can we do? And then all of a sudden they realized, you know what? Every single one of our pilots, flew the T-37 as the basic flight trainer when they first got into the Air Force to become a pilot. So let's go to Cessna and see what they can come up with. And Cessna took an T-37, put some hard points onto the wings, and then put a 7.62 minigun into the nose, and there you go. We got the A-37 Dragonfly. I think it's a really unique little airplane. It's really cool. The official name was the A-37B Dragonfly, but because the T-37s were called Tweeties or Tweets, the pilots and the ground crews started calling these Super Tweets for obvious reasons. So once I got that tan earth paint down, I then picked up the Vallejo Model Color Olive Green. and that's the lighter offset green that is used on the Southeast Asia camo on the aircraft. Really, really highlights the different colors that are used there, and it's not exact, but it's close, and it's what I had on hand, so it'll do. Again, this is a game piece. It's not meant to be a museum piece for show. This is supposed to look good on the table, and I think we do a pretty good job with it here. And that's all of what I'm doing, is showing how to get some quick paint onto models so you can start playing your games with the painted models. So something about the A-37 is not only did the United States Air Force use it, but South Vietnam used it before the fall of Saigon, and then of course Vietnam captured some. So the Communist Air Force of Vietnam used them. El Salvador and Peru and Ecuador, a lot of the Central and South American countries used them in coin roles, counterinsurgency roles, and they fly low, they fly slow, they're fairly durable, they're very easy to fly, they're very easy to maintain. So, and they're relatively inexpensive. They, at the time to build them, they cost about $500,000, much less expensive than the $5 million it was taking to build an F-4 at the time. So, definitely a bang for the buck. I think it's probably one of the best military aircraft we've ever had. With all of the colors taken care of, we will go ahead and grab the bottle of Vallejo Model Color Foundation White to put on the canopy. And I use this as a base on all of the glass on my aircraft, because then I go back over and, as you'll see here in a brief moment, transparent blue to kind of give the look of a glass canopy without getting into blending and whatnot. Again, we just want to get a quick way of getting paint onto these models so we can get them out on the table. And again, I think this does a really good job. I do have to thank my buddy Hissy Cat over at Hissy Cat Studios and Hissy Cat Builds for getting this STL for me. I found the T-37 STL and then a Lear 45 that had the wingtip fuel tanks, and he went into Blender and took the fuel tanks off the Learjet, slapped them onto the T-37, and boom, I've got an A-37 model. So thanks to you, Hissy Cat. If anybody's interested, I can throw this STL up for anybody that wants it. Now, to finish off the model, we grab a bottle of the Vallejo Model Color Transparent Blue to cover all of the white on the canopy. Again, this is just a quick way of getting it so it's not just blue. It's not just and you're not having to deal with blending the dark blue and the lighter blue and the lighter blue. It's to me it has a pretty good look to it overall. I went a little heavy with the blue on this one, but I think it still shades out pretty good. So all in all, I think it worked out well. So here we are with the final result. A quick spin around 360, showing off that Southeast Asia camouflage, and I think it looks pretty good. A couple of photos to show it off, and we're going to call this one done. I think it turned out really good. It's a fun little model to paint. Again, thank you, Hissy Cat, for getting it built. And until next time, we'll see you on the flip side.